Welcome, the rare gems. A strong woman is not someone who doesn't feel pain. She's someone who refuses to let it define her. Sigma females are a rare breed, women who don't follow the crowd, don't bow to unnecessary authority, and certainly don't live for the approval of others. They move through life with quiet confidence, relying on their own instincts and values rather than societal expectations. But being this independent and unshakable comes at a price. When you refuse to conform, the world often sees you as a threat. People will try to tear you down, undermine your success, and question your choices. They'll test your patience, push your limits, and even make you doubt yourself. But here's the truth. They fail every single time. Why? Because a Sigma female doesn't just survive, she thrives under pressure. If you've ever felt the world trying to dim your light, this is your reminder to stand tall and own who you are. Watch this video to discover how people try and fail to break Sigma females and why they'll never succeed against women like you. Number 1. They don't play the nice girl game. Society has long conditioned women to play the nice girl role, always agreeable, accommodating, and careful not to ruffle feathers. But Sigma females don't follow that script. They reject the unspoken rule that their value lies in how much they can please others or smooth over uncomfortable situations. This refusal to conform to the nice girl stereotype doesn't just confuse people, it unsettles them. When a Sigma female says no without sugarcoating it or refuses to apologize for setting boundaries, it challenges the status quo. Many mistake this straightforwardness for rudeness or arrogance, but that's just because they're unused to women who prioritize authenticity over likability. Sigma females don't act out of malice or defiance. They simply know that being nice at the expense of their peace, time, or integrity is a price they're unwilling to pay. People often respond to this rejection of the nice girl game with guilt-tripping or shaming. They may call Sigma females cold, unkind, or even selfish in an attempt to force them back into the mold. But these tactics only reinforce their resolve. Sigma females understand that being nice is often code for being easily manipulated. They see through the guilt trips and refuse to play along. Instead of softening to meet expectations, they sharpen their edges and stand firm. What makes Sigma females so powerful is that their actions are rooted in respect, not just for others, but for themselves. They know that true kindness isn't about saying yes to everything or avoiding conflict. It's about being honest and intentional. By refusing to play the nice girl game, they give others permission to do the same. They lead by example, proving that strength and grace can coexist, but only on their terms. Number 2, they reject the fixer trap. Sigma females don't fall for the fixer trap, a subtle yet common tactic where others try to shift the burden of their problems onto someone else. Whether it's a toxic relationship, an emotionally draining person, or a chaotic situation, people often assume that a Sigma female, with her strength and capability, will step in and make everything right. But this assumption is where they're mistaken. Sigma females know that not every problem is theirs to solve, and they won't waste their energy on what doesn't serve their growth or peace. This rejection of the fixer role can be deeply unsettling to those who depend on others to shoulder their emotional or practical burdens. They might try guilt or manipulation, portraying the Sigma female as uncaring or selfish for not stepping up. But she sees through these tactics. A Sigma female understands that fixing something or someone that's unwilling to change is an exercise in futility. Her energy is too valuable to be drained by toxic cycles that lead nowhere. Her refusal to engage isn't about coldness, it's about wisdom. She knows the difference between offering support and being used as a crutch. She also knows that enabling toxic behavior only perpetuates it. Instead of stepping into the chaos, she steps away, refusing to be dragged down by problems she didn't create and cannot control. This mindset isn't just about self-preservation, it's about self-respect. By rejecting the fixer trap, Sigma females set a clear example. Strength doesn't mean absorbing everyone else's mess. It means knowing where to draw the line and prioritizing their own well-being. And in doing so, they show others the power of boundaries and the importance of taking responsibility for one's own life. Number 3. They don't fear being labeled difficult. The label difficult is often used to silence strong women. It's thrown around whenever someone refuses to conform, speak softly, or agree for the sake of keeping the peace. But for Sigma females, this word doesn't carry the intended sting. In fact, they've learned to wear it as a badge of honor. Being labeled difficult simply means they can't be controlled, coerced, or manipulated, and that's exactly how they like it. Sigma females understand that the label is nothing more than a tool people use when their attempts at control fail. Whether it's in relationships, workplaces, or social settings, being difficult often translates to, "You won't compromise your integrity to make me comfortable." And for Sigma females, comfort, especially someone else's, is never worth the price of authenticity. What makes Sigma females so unfazed by this tactic is their deep self-awareness. They don't need to be universally liked, and they refuse to trade their boundaries or values for approval. They know that true respect comes not from bending to every demand, but from standing firm in who they are. While others may interpret this as stubbornness, Sigma females see it for what it really is: strength. The real irony is that those who label them difficult often admire them secretly. The courage it takes to say no, to speak up, and to walk away from toxic situations is rare. But rather than admitting their admiration, people disguise it as criticism. Yet, Sigma females don't need external validation to feel secure. They know that being true to themselves will never please everyone, and they're completely fine with that. In a world that often rewards compliance over courage, Sigma females refuse to play along. They'd rather be difficult and respected than agreeable and invisible, and that's why they always stand out. Number 4. Trying to appeal to their feminine side. People often think they can manipulate Sigma females by playing into traditional gender roles or societal expectations. They try to appeal to the feminine side and assuming that by praising their looks, offering compliments about their nurturing nature, or suggesting they should be more caring or soft, they can gain influence. But this approach never works, because Sigma females have long since discarded the notion that their worth should be tied to society's limited definitions of femininity. Sigma females are far more complex than the simplistic idea that they need to fulfill a certain role to be valued. They don't need to conform to any ideal. Whether it's being the perfect partner, the perfect daughter, or the sweet, caring woman who sacrifices her own desires for others. Instead, they measure their worth by their integrity, intelligence, and authenticity. They know their value isn't in how well they fit into someone else's box. When people try to appeal to their feminine side, it often feels shallow and outdated. Sigma females are too self-aware and independent to fall for the idea that their power lies in how much they can nurture or please others. They don't need validation to feel whole. They know their capabilities and their boundaries, and they operate from a place of self-assurance that makes external flattery seem irrelevant. This rejection of societal pressures leaves many baffled. People expect Sigma females to be impressed by compliments rooted in traditional roles, but instead, they see them as hollow attempts to control. The Sigma female will never conform just because society says she should. She's already defined herself by her own terms, and no amount of appeal to her feminine side will make her change who she truly is. Number 5. Their success isn't rooted in revenge, it's in purpose. People often make the mistake of thinking Sigma females are driven by a desire to prove something to the world, maybe to get back at those who doubted them or to silence their critics. It's an easy assumption to make because most people operate on external motivations, like revenge or recognition. But this is where Sigma females are fundamentally different. Their success isn't about anyone else, it's about fulfilling their purpose. They rise not to settle scores, but because they have an innate drive to become their best selves. When people underestimate them, they assume tearing them down or withholding approval will shake their confidence. But here's the thing. Sigma females don't care about winning anyone's approval. They're not chasing applause, validation, or a need to show them. Their achievements come from something deeper, a desire to align with their values, push their limits, and build a life that feels authentic. That's why attempts to break them always fail. You can't sabotage someone who isn't playing your game. What makes this purpose-driven mindset so unstoppable is that it doesn't burn out. Revenge is fleeting. It dies once the score is settled. But purpose is endless. It's not reactive, it's proactive. Sigma females wake up every day focused on their goals, not because someone told them they couldn't do it, but because it's what they're meant to do. This unshakable sense of direction is what makes them intimidating. People who try to break them eventually realize they're not the center of the Sigma female's universe. She isn't fighting them. She's too busy building something bigger than herself. That's the secret to her resilience. Her purpose is stronger than anyone's opinion, and her success is inevitable because it's rooted in something real. A heartfelt thank you to you, Rare Gems, for being a cherished part of this community. Your encouragement and support inspire me to keep producing content that matters. I deeply appreciate you. Number 6. Passive aggression falls on deaf ears. Passive aggression is a weapon people use when they lack the courage to confront someone directly. It's subtle, underhanded, and designed to provoke an emotional reaction without openly taking responsibility for the conflict. But when it's aimed at a Sigma female, it falls completely flat. Sigma females have no patience for mind games. They see passive-aggressive behavior for what it is, an attempt to manipulate without accountability. And instead of getting drawn into the pettiness, they simply refuse to engage. When faced with snide comments, veiled insults, or intentionally ambiguous behavior, Sigma females don't overanalyze or waste their energy deciphering hidden messages. If something matters, they'll address it outright. If it doesn't, they let it go entirely. This calm, deliberate approach disarms passive-aggressive people, who are often left floundering when their provocations fail to land. Sigma females don't give them the satisfaction of reacting. What makes this strategy so effective is their clarity of thought and emotional independence. Sigma females don't need external validation, nor do they thrive on drama. This detachment makes them immune to the underlying tactics of passive aggression, seeking attention, control, or sympathy. If someone has an issue, Sigma females expect them to say it directly. If they can't, the Sigma female will move on without a second thought. This approach often leaves passive-aggressive people frustrated. They crave reaction, but the Sigma female's refusal to engage shines a harsh light on their immaturity. For Sigma females, there's no value in playing petty games when they could be investing their time and energy in something meaningful. Their silence in the face of passive aggression isn't indifference, it's a statement. I see what you're doing, and it's not worth my time. And that's why this tactic always fails against them. Number 7, their detachment frustrates control freaks. Control freaks thrive on power, manipulating emotions, steering decisions, and maintaining dominance over situations. But Sigma females are their worst nightmare. They're fundamentally ungovernable, and that fact drives control freaks into a spiral of frustration. Unlike most people who might react emotionally under pressure, Sigma females maintain an almost unnerving calm. Their detachment is not indifference. It's a deliberate choice to stay grounded in their principles rather than be swayed by external forces. Control freaks depend on triggering reactions to maintain their grip. Whether it's anger, fear, or guilt, they use emotional manipulation as a tool to assert dominance. But Sigma females don't bite. They see through the tactics, recognize the underlying insecurities, and respond with calm precision, or not at all. This refusal to engage leaves control freaks powerless because without an emotional response, their influence evaporates. What makes Sigma females so unshakable is their deep sense of autonomy. They know who they are and what they stand for, and they refuse to compromise those values for anyone. Control freaks, accustomed to bending others to their will, can't handle this level of independence. They may try harder, escalating their tactics with intimidation or passive aggression, but it only serves to highlight their desperation. Instead of feeding into the chaos, Sigma females either address the issue with direct, unapologetic honesty or simply remove themselves from the situation. Their detachment isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about refusing to be manipulated. This level-headedness not only protects their peace, but also forces control freaks to confront the futility of their actions. In the end, Sigma females leave control freaks spinning their wheels trying to dominate someone who simply cannot be dominated. Their unshakable composure is both their armor and their power, and it's a strength no one can take away. Number 8. Expectation of drama, but they're above it. Society often thrives on conflict and drama. It's in the news, in social media, and even in everyday conversations. People seem to gravitate toward chaos, feeding off tension and power struggles. But Sigma females don't play that game. They stand apart, not because they don't feel the pull of drama, but because they refuse to engage in it. When others expect a reaction, when they anticipate emotional fireworks or a fight, the Sigma female simply remains above it. This ability to stay calm in the face of manufactured conflict leaves people uncomfortable. They don't understand how a Sigma female can stay so composed when they're pushing all the buttons meant to provoke a response. Passive-aggressive remarks bounce off her like water off a duck's back, and attempts to create tension or start a confrontation fall flat. It's not that Sigma females are ignoring the drama. It's that they see it for what it is: unnecessary noise meant to derail their focus. By refusing to get caught up in the drama, Sigma females make their opponents look small and petty. They don't need to argue or fight back because their silence is louder than any response. They're not reacting because they know that engaging with conflict is a waste of energy. It's a sign of strength to walk away from the chaos, to remain unmoved, and to simply observe as others scramble to stir up trouble. This calm composure unsettles people who thrive on drama because they can't control it. The Sigma female's refusal to participate leaves them empty-handed, frustrated, and often questioning their own motives. The truth is, Sigma females don't need to win every battle. They're already above it, letting others burn themselves out while they stay focused on their own goals. Number 9. Overloading with choices backfires. People often make the mistake of thinking that by overwhelming a Sigma female with a myriad of choices, they can confuse her into making a wrong decision or lose her focus. The assumption is that by bombarding her with possibilities, she'll become paralyzed, indecisive, or susceptible to taking the wrong path. But in reality, this strategy only plays into the strength of the Sigma female's decision-making process. Sigma females have a unique ability to cut through noise. When faced with an overwhelming number of options, they don't flinch. Instead, they assess each choice through the lens of their core values and long-term goals. Their clarity of purpose allows them to sift through distractions and hone in on what truly matters. While others might get lost in the abundance of choices, Sigma females excel at identifying what aligns with their personal principles, and they move forward with unwavering decisiveness. Far from paralyzing them, the excess of options only sharpens their focus. Where some might crumble under pressure, Sigma females thrive. The noise, confusion, and multiple pathways only act as fuel for their decisiveness. They don't need to make a choice based on what others think or expect. They simply rely on their inner compass, knowing that the best decision is one that feels authentic and true to who they are. The truth is, Sigma females are not easily swayed by external influences. Overloading them with choices doesn't confuse them. It empowers them to make clear, deliberate decisions with confidence. What others might see as a burden becomes for the Sigma female an opportunity to further solidify her independence and sharpen her resolve. Number 10. Underestimating their strength of character. One of the biggest mistakes people make when dealing with Sigma females is underestimating the strength of their character. They might think that because Sigma females are quiet, independent, or introverted, they are emotionally fragile or easily influenced by criticism or rejection. But this assumption is not just wrong, it's dangerous. The reality is that Sigma females have an unshakable core that is forged from resilience, self-awareness, and an iron will. Unlike many people who react emotionally to criticism or feel demoralized by rejection, Sigma females don't let these things penetrate their sense of self. Emotional attacks simply don't register with them. It's not that they don't feel, It's that they've learned to control how they respond. They understand that harsh words or negative opinions are reflections of others, not of their worth. Their self-esteem isn't dependent on external validation. What makes their strength so powerful is its subtlety. It's not about loud displays of defiance or outwardly fighting back. It's the quiet, unyielding nature of their resolve. They can take hit after hit, whether it's from criticism, judgment, or rejection, and remain unmoved. This inner strength allows them to navigate even the toughest situations with grace and confidence. People often mistake their calm demeanor for passivity or weakness, but it's far from that. Sigma females know that real strength isn't about reacting. It's about staying true to who you are, no matter the storm around you. So when others try to break them, whether through insults or attempts to diminish their value, they only end up exposing their own weakness. Sigma females are unshaken because their strength is built on something deeper than words or opinions. In the end, people will always try to break you down, manipulate your emotions, or box you into a role that suits them. But if you're a Sigma female, you're not built to be broken. You don't need anyone's approval, and you don't play by society's rules. The truth is, your strength comes from knowing exactly who you are, what you stand for, and how you navigate the world on your own terms. Every attempt to shake your confidence or make you doubt yourself only exposes the weaknesses of those trying to control you. Emotional manipulation, societal pressure, or overwhelming choices, they all fall flat because none of these things can change your core. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, and that's why people can't break you. Your purpose, your authenticity, and your ability to remain detached from the noise around you make you unstoppable. So if you're a Sigma female, stand tall. Recognize the power in your detachment, your boundaries, and your unshakable sense of self. People will continue to try, but the truth is, they fail because you've already won. Keep walking your path with confidence, and let those who don't understand keep struggling to figure you out. In the end, their attempts to break you are nothing more than proof of your strength. Keep being you. The world needs more of it. Take care and see you in our next video. God bless.